Most executives do not ruin retirement because they failed to save. Mistakes usually happen because key decisions were delayed until the final stretch. By the time retirement is 6 months away, some of the best planning windows may already be gone. Deferred compensation elections may already be locked in. Your stock option timelines may already be running. If you have RSUs, those decisions may already be creating tax issues or have been creating tax issues. If you have a pension, those choices may be closer than you had expected. Healthcare decisions may be more expensive than you had planned after looking into them. And as you start to look at your Roth-conversion windows, those may be narrower than they looked from a distance. And the last piece is Social Security may seem simple on the outset, but it rarely is. Tax planning may become more reactive instead of strategic. That is why executive retirement is different. A traditional retirement conversation usually starts with just one question: do I have enough? Executives need to ask a better question: how do all of these moving pieces fit together before I leave work? That's a very different conversation. Your salary is one piece, your bonus compensation is another, your deferred compensation has its own timing, your company stock may carry concentration risk. Stock options may have expiration rules. Your RSUs may vest around retirement. Your 401k, brokerage, Roth, and cash all have different tax treatment. Your healthcare may change when you leave your employer. Your pension decisions may be permanent. Your Social Security may be affecting your spouse. Your estate planning may need to be updated before your assets start moving. A retirement date is not just a date on the calendar. For an executive, it can be a tax event, income, benefit event, investments, family planning, all of it at the same time. I'm Garrett Engman with New Horizons Boutique Financial Services. We help executives, professionals, business owners, and families organize the financial transitions that come with major life transitions. Today, I want to walk through the 5 decisions executives should make before they retire. Each one can affect how much flexibility you have, how much tax you pay, how much risk your family carries, and how confident you feel stepping away from a high-income career. But before we get into the 5 decisions, I want to set the frame. This video is not designated to give you a step-by-step retirement strategy. That would not be responsible of me. The right strategy depends on your income, accounts, equity compensation, tax picture, so on and so forth, but ultimately your long-term goals. What this video will do is help you recognize the best decisions that deserve attention before retirement. When I use examples, they'll be very specific. Specific examples are useful because they show how complicated the real world can be. At the same time, they should not be copied because your facts will be different. So let's start with decision number 1. What are you actually retiring into? Many executives know what they want to retire from. They want to retire from the pressure. The travel schedule that you're on may have become exhausting. The late night emails may have worn you down. Your board meetings may no longer feel worth the trade-off. Consistent accountability may have created a bit of fatigue. Another year of bonus compensation may not feel as exciting as it once did. A successful career can still become heavy. The problem is that retiring from something is not the same as retiring into something. That distinction matters more than most people think. One executive may want to stop working completely at 58. Another may want to leave the corporate world and consult for a few years. A third may want to sit on some boards. Someone else may want to sell a business interest and stay involved part-time. Another person may want to travel heavily while their health is strong. One spouse may be ready to retire while the other wants to keep working. Every version of retirement creates a financial plan, and a different one. A person who fully retires at 55 needs a different income bridge than someone consulting until 62. Someone planning to move states has different tax questions than someone staying put. A family helping adult children may need more liquidity than a couple with no major family obligations. A retiree with a pension has a different income foundation than someone relying entirely on portfolio withdrawals. So let's get into our first specific example. Imagine David, a 56-year-old executive. He earns about $475,000 between salary and bonus, has a 401k of $2.8 million, and a brokerage account that has $400,000. He's got about $300,000 in liquid cash that he's accumulated over the years, and company stock is worth just shy of $1,900,000. Deferred compensation is scheduled to pay out over 5 years after he retires. He'd like to retire at 58. At first, that sounds like a retirement question, but after a little deeper conversation, his goal becomes a bit more specific. He wants to leave his corporate role, take 1 year off, and then consult for around $150,000 or so a year. That detail changes the planning. Consulting income may reduce the need for portfolio withdrawals. It may also reduce the size for certain tax planning windows. Deferred compensation may overlap with his consulting income, creating a tax burden. Selling company stock can create taxable gains in the years that are not as low income as expected. Your healthcare costs may need to be handled between employer coverage and Medicare. And if there's a spouse's income, that may affect the plan as well. Now let's compare David with another executive, right around the same age, similar net worth, but has a completely different retirement vision. This second person wants to stop working completely and spend $225,000 a year in the first 5 years purely on travel, home projects, and family support. Those two people may look similar on paper. Their financial plans should not look the same. That is why the first decision is a personal one before it becomes financial. What are you retiring into? Only after answering that question can the numbers start doing their real job. Decision number 2 is your income sequencing. Executives often have many income sources. That is a real strength to your plan. However, without coordination, it can also become a problem. A good problem, however. Salary may continue through the final year. Your bonus compensation may even arrive after retirement. If you have deferred compensation, that will pay out on a fixed schedule or in a lump sum. Your RSUs may vest in certain years even after you retire. And your stock options may need quick action before they expire, typically a 90-day window. And a pension may have different start date choices. Social Security, you could turn that on early or at full retirement age or later. Brokerage accounts could provide you with a flexible kind of in-between withdrawal sequence, and your pre-tax retirement accounts can create a tax burden with future required distributions. Your Roth assets offer your tax-free potential, while your cash can cover your short-term spending. Your consulting income may appear for a few years and disappear. The issue is not just how much money exists. A better question is which dollar should be used first, which should be preserved, and which should be repositioned before the paycheck stops. That sequence matters because income sources are not interchangeable. A dollar from traditional IRA is not the same as a dollar from a brokerage account. Roth money has different tax treatment than deferred compensation. Company stock carries different risk than cash. Pension income may affect the need for portfolio withdrawals. Your Social Security timing may affect survivor benefits. A withdrawal order can shape taxes, Medicare premiums, how long your portfolio lasts, and your estate outcomes. So here's another narrow example. Picture Karen. She's 59 years old and wants to retire next year. Her 401k holds about $1.9 million, all pre-tax, and has a taxable brokerage of about $550,000. She's got a total amount of Roth assets of $175,000 and $600,000 in company stock. She has a pension that can begin either at 60 or 65. And Karen and her spouse spend about $180,000 a year. Their mortgage will be paid off in 3 years. They don't have a long-term care plan, and they've planned to delay Social Security, but the exact date hasn't been chosen. So Karen asked us a simple question: can I retire at 60? No, we cannot answer that question with just one number. A better review would look at several competing paths. Taking the pension at 60 creates income sooner. Waiting until 65 provides a larger benefit. Using her brokerage assets first creates some flexibility, and taking partial IRA withdrawals earlier reduces the requirement for RMDs, or required minimum distributions. And preserving those Roth assets will help later in life or with their legacy planning. And that selling the company stock may reduce their concentration risk, but holding the stock may preserve the upside, but also keeps that one company exposure. Building cash reserves may help during the first few years, and each choice affects the next one. That is why retirement income should be designed like income architecture. A strong plan should identify where income comes from, where it starts, how long it lasts, how it's taxed, and what happens when the assumptions change. Markets move, tax rules often change, spending rarely follows a perfect straight line each month. Healthcare events can create a quick shift in priorities, and family needs may appear unexpectedly. If you're consulting, income may not materialize exactly as planned. A good sequence gives room for the plan to adapt. The decision number 3 is equity compensation and company stock. This is one of the biggest issues for executives. Many executives build wealth through RSUs, stock options, performance shares, and other versions of company equity. That equity can be a major wealth builder, and is, but it also creates a hidden risk. The challenge is emotional as much as it is financial. Executives often know the company well. They may believe in the leadership team. Years of holding the stock has often been rewarding. Their career success and company success may feel connected. Selling those shares can feel almost like you're doubting the company and everything you've built. Diversifying can feel like leaving future upside behind. Yet concentrated stock is not just an investment decision. For many executives, the same company provides their salary, their bonus, their benefits, their professional identity, and a meaningful portion of their net worth. That creates a layered exposure. When the company performs well, the exposure feels brilliant, right? But during a downturn, the risk becomes obvious very quickly. Let's use another specific example. Imagine Lisa, age 54. Lisa works for a publicly traded technology company. Her total net worth is $4.2 million. Roughly $1.4 million of that is tied in company stock and unvested RSUs. She has 401k of about $2 million and brokerage assets totaling $500,000. She's also got about $300,000 in cash. The company stock has performed extremely well over the last 8 years. Lisa would like to take a step back at 57. The planning question is not, should Lisa sell everything? That's a bit too simplistic. A better discussion asks how much is vested, how much is unvested, what happens to the unvested shares at retirement, whether there are retirement provisions inside of the equity plan, and whether blackout limits or options limits the sale timing. And the expiration dates of stock options may matter as well. Your capital gains bracket matters. If you have charitable giving goals, how does that create planning opportunities for you? How much liquidity do you have outside of the stock? And future retirement spending could rely too heavily on one company's share price. None of those questions can be answered with just a generic rule. The real question is what role the company stock should play in the plan. Is it growth capital? Is it income funding? Is it a legacy asset? Is it borrowing power? Is it fuel to give to charity? Does it fit your overall family's risk tolerance? Or is it simply still there because no decision has been made yet? That last situation is much more common than people think. Holding by default is still a decision. Doing nothing keeps the risk. Now on to decision number 4, and that's identifying tax windows before and after retirement. This is where executives often miss opportunities. During high-income working years, salary, bonus, equity vesting, deferred comp, dividends, interest, and capital gains may crowd your tax picture. Certain strategies may be less attractive while income is high. After retirement, a window may open. Sometimes taxable income drops before you take Social Security. Other times, a pension, deferred comp, consulting income, or investment sales prevent that drop from happening. Required minimum distributions may eventually push your income higher again. Medicare premiums will enter the conversation later. State taxes may matter depending on where you live, particularly here in Minnesota. That means retirement tax planning should not be viewed 1 year at a time. The transition needs a multi-year map. Consider Mark and Angela. Mark is 61 and retiring at the end of the year. Angela is 58 and plans to keep working for 3 more years. Mark has $2.5 million in pre-tax retirement accounts. Roth assets total $250,000. Brokerage assets are around $800,000. Deferred compensation begins 2 years after retirement. Angela earns $180,000. They're likely planning to delay Social Security, and they would like to spend winters in Florida while keeping strong ties to Minnesota. Some might say they should look at Roth conversions after retirement. Maybe that's true. Probably sounds right. But the more responsible answer requires a little more detail. Angela's income may be keeping them in a higher bracket. As the deferred compensation kicks in, that will start before a lower income window even opens up. Capital gains from portfolio repositioning may compete for the tax space. State residency questions matter as well. Medicare timing is also approaching, and future required distributions may become significant. Charitable goals could change that analysis. Estate planning may influence which assets should be preserved. The better question is not should they convert to Roth. A sharper question is which years have room and what other income appears in those years, and what future problem are we trying to reduce. That type of thinking applies to Roth conversions, IRA withdrawals, capital gains, charitable planning, your deferred comp, and Social Security. Retirement is not only a lifestyle transition. For executives, it is often one of the most important tax transitions of their financial life. On to decision number 5, this is protecting the plan before your paycheck stops. High income can hide a lot of your weak spots. Large paychecks cover large expenses. Market downturns feel less threatening when your income continues and you can buy in. Your unexpected costs can be easily absorbed. Your family support may be handled from purely cash flow, and your employer benefits may mask your insurance gaps. Once the paycheck stops, the plan carries more weight. That means risks need to be reviewed before retirement. Healthcare before Medicare may be expensive. Long-term care may have not been addressed yet. Your life insurance may be outdated or just completely unnecessary. Your disability coverage will probably disappear, and your estate documents may not reflect your current wishes. Your beneficiary designations may be wrong. Maybe you got grandkiddos now. A spouse may not know how her income will be created. A concentrated stock position may remain too large, like we talked about earlier. The portfolio may be too aggressive for near-term withdrawals. Your cash reserves could also be a bit too light for your early retirement expenses. And your sequence of returns risk may not be fully understood. So here's the last example we'll get into today. Tom is 58 and retiring from a senior leadership role. Renee is 57 and has not worked full-time for several years. They have a total portfolio of $3.6 million, and annual spending is roughly about $120,000. They only have a small mortgage, and their travel plans are significant during the first 5 years of retirement. Tom has always handled the investments. Renee is not deeply involved in the financial details. On paper, the couple may look strong. After going over a risk review, this brings up a few important questions. Would Renee know where income comes from if Tom passed away? Do beneficiary designations match the estate plan? Should life insurance be kept, reduced, or replaced with other planning? Has long-term care risk been addressed? Could the portfolio support spending if the market dropped early? Should the first few years of withdrawals be protected differently than long-term growth assets? What happens to taxes for the surviving spouse? Can Renee manage the plan without Tom? These are not meant to be scare tactics. Planning questions protect people from preventable stress. A good retirement plan should work beyond the best case scenario. So, in recap over the 5 decisions, first, define what you are retiring into. Second, sequence income before your paycheck stops. Third, decide what role your company stock should play and equity compensation should play. Fourth, identify tax windows across the retirement transition. And fifth, protect the plan from hidden risks that your high income has protected over the years. Each decision connects to the others. Lifestyle affects your income needs affect withdrawal order, and your withdrawal order affects your taxes. Taxes affect your Roth-conversion opportunities. Your equity compensation affects risk. Risk affects cash reserves. And your healthcare affects spending. Estate planning affects your asset movement. Your family goals affect almost everything. That is why executive retirement should not be treated as one decision. It is a coordinated transition. The earlier you start, the more room you usually have. At New Horizons Boutique Financial Services, we assist executives and professionals organize these moving pieces into a retirement strategy built around the life they actually want. A portfolio balance alone is not enough. A retirement date alone is not enough. The real value is in how the pieces work together. To start a conversation, you can click one of the links below. And if you found this informational, please leave a like and press subscribe. Please note this video is for educational purposes and should not be considered personalized advice, tax, or legal advice. Your situation should be reviewed with the appropriate professionals before making financial decisions. Thank you for spending time with us here today, and we look forward to seeing you in the next video.